In the heart of the Galactic Furniture Factory, where the hum of machinery blended with the chatter of various alien species, Alex Rodriguez stood out like a beacon of calm amidst the chaos. The factory was a bustling spectacle, filled with workers of all shapes and sizes, each struggling to piece together the latest in interstellar furniture design. The air was thick with the scent of lubricants and freshly cut wood, a comforting aroma to Alex, who had spent years honing his craft in this unique environment. As a human furniture assembler, Alex had a knack for understanding complex assembly manuals, something that most of his alien co-workers found maddeningly difficult. He often chuckled to himself, recalling how, just a few years prior, he had been equally lost in the labyrinth of alien assembly instructions. Now, he was the go-to person for anyone needing assistance, a role he embraced with patience and enthusiasm. One day, as he meticulously fitted together a sleek, chrome-plated chair designed for a species with 3 legs, a group of aliens caught his attention. They were huddled together, their brightly colored skin contrasting with the industrial gray of the factory. Their long faces were twisted in frustration, and Alex could hear their voices rising above the mechanical sounds of the factory. "Why won't this piece fit?" one of them exclaimed, throwing down a tool that clattered across the floor. "It's impossible." "We followed the manual exactly," another added, exasperation clear in their tone. Alex set down his tools and approached the group, sensing an opportunity to help. As he drew closer, he noticed they were attempting to assemble a simple chair, an object that seemed deceptively easy from his human perspective. The aliens, however, were clearly struggling. Their limbs moved awkwardly, and their attempts to manipulate the parts were more chaotic than coordinated. "Hey there," Alex said, his voice friendly and soothing. "Looks like you could use a hand." The aliens turned to him, their expressions a mix of surprise and skepticism. One of them, a tall figure with bright green scales, crossed their arms. "We don't need help from a human," they replied, their voice slightly defensive. "I get it," Alex responded, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "But I've been in your shoes before. Trust me, following the manual is key, and I can show you how." After a moment of hesitation, the group exchanged glances. Finally, the green-scale alien nodded. "Fine. But just this once." Alex smiled, feeling the excitement of the challenge ahead. "Great. Let's start by taking a look at the manual together." As they gathered around a holographic display of the assembly manual, Alex pointed out the first step. "See this part? It goes here, but you have to make sure it aligns perfectly. If it's even slightly off, it won't fit." The aliens leaned in, their eyes wide with curiosity. "How do you know this?" one asked, genuinely intrigued. "I've been doing this for a while," Alex replied, his pride evident. "And I've learned that patience is key. If we rush, we'll just make things harder for ourselves." The group seemed to mull over his words, and Alex continued, explaining the importance of taking one step at a time. They began to follow his guidance, though their initial attempts were clumsy. There was laughter, 2 light-hearted moments where parts went flying or tools slipped from their grasp. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel," Alex said, his voice bright as he encouraged them. The aliens chuckled, the tension slowly dissipating. As they worked together, the atmosphere shifted from frustration to camaraderie. The aliens began to share their own experiences, revealing that their species had their own methods of assembling furniture, but none were as systematic or detailed as the human approach. Alex listened intently, fascinated by their unique perspectives and the logic that governed their methods. "Why do you humans make everything so complicated?" another alien asked, tilting their head. "We prefer things to be spontaneous." Alex chuckled, knowing that spontaneity often led to chaos in assembly. "Sometimes, it's the simplest methods that yield the best results. Trust me, following this manual will save you time in the long run." As they progressed, their teamwork improved. The aliens started to communicate more effectively, coordinating their movements and sharing tools. Alex marveled at how quickly they adapted, their initial skepticism being replaced with determination. "Remember, each part has a purpose," he reminded them as they began to fit the chair's legs. "If we understand how things work together, we can create something amazing." Hours passed, and the chair was finally taking shape. Each bolted connection and tightened screw felt like a small victory. The aliens buzzed with excitement, their earlier frustration forgotten as they focused on the task at hand.
Look! It's actually coming together, one of the aliens exclaimed, their eyes sparkling with wonder.
Alex beamed, feeling a sense of accomplishment in their progress.
Exactly. See how much easier it is when we work as a team?
They all nodded, and the mood in the room shifted from one of anxiety to one of shared triumph. The chair, although simple, became a symbol of their efforts and newfound understanding. As they wrapped up their initial assembly session, Alex felt proud of the connections he had made with his alien co-workers. It was clear that they were beginning to understand the value of patience and teamwork, two essential qualities that transcended species.
With a final look at the half-finished chair, Alex smiled. You know, this is just the beginning. If you can assemble a chair together, imagine what else you can create.
The aliens exchanged excited glances, the spark of creativity igniting within them. As they turned to Alex, their skepticism had transformed into respect. They had learned something invaluable that day, not just about furniture assembly, but about collaboration and patience. And so, the Galactic Furniture Factory continued to buzz with activity, but now, there was a newfound spirit of cooperation and understanding. Each assembly, each project, became a lesson in patience, a valuable skill that the aliens were eager to explore further. As Alex stepped back to observe his new friends, he felt a sense of fulfillment. Not only had he helped them with their immediate challenge, but he had also fostered a deeper connection across cultures. In that bustling factory, barriers were breaking down one piece of furniture at a time. In the heart of the Galactic Furniture Factory, the air buzzed with a cacophony of sounds, a mixture of clattering tools, whirring machines, and the muffled conversations of alien workers. Among them stood Alex Rodriguez, a human furniture assembler whose calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the chaotic atmosphere around him. As he carefully adjusted a screw on a piece of furniture, his eyes drifted to a group of aliens huddled together, their limbs flailing as they attempted to make sense of the assembly manual.
Ugh!
Why can't we just stick it all together like this? One alien exclaimed in frustration, attempting to shove two mismatched pieces together, causing a loud crash as they fell apart.
The others groaned in exasperation, their antennas twitching in dismay. Alex watched with a mix of amusement and sympathy.
He remembered his own early days as an assembler, fumbling with tools and parts, unsure of what to do. He could see the aliens were struggling, and their frustration was palpable. Taking a deep breath, he decided it was time to step in.
Hey there!
I couldn't help but notice you all seem to be having a bit of a rough time, Alex said, approaching the group with a friendly smile. The aliens paused, turning their multicolored eyes toward him, a mix of curiosity and skepticism. What do you know about assembling furniture? One of them challenged, crossing their arms.
You're just a human.
Alex chuckled softly, undeterred by their skepticism.
Well, I might just be a human, but I've spent years assembling furniture.
If you'll let me, I can show you a better way to follow the manual. The aliens exchanged glances, their expressions softening slightly as they considered his offer.
We've followed the manual, another alien replied, frustration evident in their tone. But it doesn't make sense. We need to be spontaneous.
Sometimes, a little structure can help with spontaneity, Alex countered, gesturing to the assembly manual laid out on a nearby table.
It's like a guide that helps you turn your creativity into something solid. How about we give it a try together?
There was a moment of hesitation, but then one of the aliens, a tall figure with bright purple skin and large, expressive eyes, nodded.
Okay, let's see what you've got. But if it doesn't work, we're going back to our way.
If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex said, his voice lighthearted as he gathered the aliens around the table. He laid out the manual, pointing to the first step with an enthusiastic grin.
So, this part here?
It goes here, but you have to make sure it aligns perfectly.
If it's even slightly off, it won't fit.
The aliens leaned in closer, their interest piqued. How do you know this? One asked, genuinely intrigued. I've made my fair share of mistakes, Alex admitted, a playful glint in his eye.
I've learned that patience is key.
If we rush, we'll just make things harder for ourselves. As he explained the importance of taking one step at a time, the aliens began to nod, their initial doubts gradually fading. They started to pick up the tools, albeit awkwardly, and looked to Alex for guidance. Under his watchful eye, they began to follow his lead, though their attempts were clumsy at first. "Okay, let's try putting the legs on the chair," Alex suggested, demonstrating the correct way to attach each leg carefully. The aliens watched intently, mimicking his movements but with their own unique twists. Laughter erupted as one alien accidentally dropped a tool, sending it clattering across the floor. "Oops. Sorry," they exclaimed, their cheeks turning a shade of green. The lightheartedness of the moment helped to ease the tension, and Alex couldn't help but smile. "Don't worry. It happens to the best of us," he reassured them, feeling a budding camaraderie. As they continued to work together, Alex enjoyed watching their interactions, noting how they began to communicate more effectively. They started to share their own assembly techniques from their home planets, revealing that their species had methods that, while different from Alex's systematic approach, were equally creative. "Why do you humans make everything so complicated?" another alien asked, tilting their head in confusion. "We prefer things to be spontaneous." Alex chuckled, knowing that spontaneity often led to chaos in assembly. "Sometimes, it's the simplest methods that yield the best results. Trust me, following this manual will save you time in the long run." As they progressed, the atmosphere shifted. The initial frustration that had filled the air was melting away, replaced with a sense of determination. Each time they successfully attached another piece, cheers erupted from the group, and even Alex found himself celebrating their small victories. "Look! It's actually coming together," one of the aliens shouted, their eyes wide with excitement as they observed the chair slowly taking shape. "Exactly. See how much easier it is when we work as a team?" Alex encouraged, his heart swelling with pride as he watched them bond over the assembly process. Hours passed, and the chair was finally taking form. Each bolted connection and tightened screw felt like a small victory. The aliens buzzed with excitement, their earlier frustration forgotten as they focused on the task at hand. They were becoming a cohesive unit, learning not just about furniture assembly but also about the power of collaboration. As they wrapped up their first assembly session, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. Not only had they made tangible progress, but they had also built a bridge between their cultures. The aliens turned to him, their skepticism transformed into respect. "You know, this is just the beginning. If you can assemble a chair together, imagine what else you can create," Alex said, his enthusiasm infectious. The aliens exchanged eager glances, their previous doubts washed away by newfound confidence. They were ready to tackle whatever came next, and Alex couldn't help but be excited for them. The Galactic Furniture Factory continued to buzz with activity, but now, there was a spirit of cooperation and understanding that filled the air, one that would carry them forward in their journey together. As Alex stepped back to observe his new friends, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. In that bustling factory, barriers were breaking down one piece of furniture at a time, and he knew this was only the beginning of something truly special. Alex gathered the eager band of aliens around a makeshift workspace in the Galactic Furniture Factory. The vibrant colors of their skin contrasted against the dull grays of the tools and equipment scattered around. Their eyes glimmered with both excitement and apprehension as they looked at the assembly manual that Alex had handed out. It was a crisp, digital sheet that glowed faintly, filled with diagrams and instructions that had, until now, been utterly mystifying to them. "All right, everyone," Alex began, his voice steady and reassuring. "This is our first assembly session. We're going to build a simple chair together. Remember, patience is key here. Let's take it one step at a time." The aliens nodded, though their expressions revealed a cocktail of determination and confusion. One of them, a tall figure with long, tentacle-like appendages, raised a hand. "What if we mess up?" they asked, their voice tinged with worry. "Then we learn from it. Mistakes are part of the process," Alex replied, smiling. He could sense the weight of their skepticism but was determined to turn it into a learning moment. "Trust me, I've messed up plenty of times before. That's how I became a better assembler." As he spoke, Alex felt a surge of hope.
If he could instill even a fraction of his experience in these aliens, they might just surprise themselves. Let's start with the legs of the chair. I'll show you how to attach them correctly. With that, he demonstrated how to align the first leg with the chair base, taking care to explain each step clearly. He was met with a mix of fascination and fumbling as the aliens, attempting to mimic his method, picked up tools that felt foreign in their hands. One alien grabbed a wrench and looked at it quizzically, as if it were a new species altogether. How does this work?" they asked, twisting the tool in the air. "Just like this," Alex replied, patiently guiding their hand. "You turn it to the right to tighten. If you go left, it loosens. Simple enough, right?" Laughter erupted among the group. "Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey," shouted another alien, a round figure with bright eyes, who was clearly enjoying the moment. The laughter was infectious, and Alex felt the atmosphere lighten. He watched as they began to engage with the task, albeit with some initial clumsiness. As they attempted to attach the first leg, chaos ensued. One of the aliens accidentally dropped a bolt, which ricocheted across the floor, causing another to jump back in surprise. "I think we'll need a safety manual for this," they joked, and the group burst into giggles. "Hey, that's a great idea. Maybe I should write one." Alex responded, chuckling along with them. He appreciated how humor was breaking down their barriers. The light-hearted moments were crucial for building trust and rapport. After several attempts, the first leg was finally secured, and the aliens cheered as if they had just won a grand intergalactic tournament. "We did it," one exclaimed, their enthusiasm contagious. "Nice work, team. Now, let's do the next one." Alex continued to guide them through the process, emphasizing the importance of teamwork. "Remember, communication is key. If you're stuck or unsure, just ask. We're all here to help each other." With renewed energy, the aliens resumed their efforts. They began to work in pairs, discussing amongst themselves their strategies and observations. Alex felt a wave of pride as he observed them drawing on each other's strengths. One alien suggested a different way to hold the wrench, while another proposed a method to stabilize the chair while they worked. It was clear they were beginning to think critically about the task at hand. "Hey, if we combine our ideas, we might find an even better way to do this," an alien with shimmering scales suggested, their voice brimming with excitement. "That's the spirit. Let's innovate together," Alex replied, feeling the thrill of collaboration in the air. As they progressed, the aliens' initial confusion began to fade. They started to adapt, and before long, the chair began to take shape. Each successful connection was met with joyous cheers, and the factory's ambience shifted from uncertainty to triumph. The sounds of grinding tools and laughter filled the space, a symphony of creativity and determination. Suddenly, Alex noticed a couple of aliens struggling with a particularly stubborn bolt. Their expressions turned from joy to frustration as they wrestled with the tool. "Why won't this just go in?" one alien exclaimed, their patience wearing thin. "Okay, let's take a step back," Alex suggested. "Sometimes, the best approach is to breathe and reassess the situation. Let's try loosening it a bit, and then we can tighten it again. Remember, it's all about patience." Taking a deep breath, the aliens followed his advice. Slowly and deliberately, they adjusted their approach, applying Alex's principles of patience and teamwork. After several minutes, the bolt finally clicked into place, and they erupted in cheers once more. "See? Patience pays off," Alex said, grinning. "You're all doing amazing. Keep it up." As the assembly session continued, the atmosphere was electric. They were not just building a chair, they were building camaraderie and trust. The aliens began to share their own stories, revealing snippets of their lives and cultures, each tale adding a layer of depth to their relationship with Alex. One alien spoke of their home planet, a place where gravity was half that of Earth's, making it difficult to manage heavier objects. "We've never had to deal with something like this before," they confessed, glancing at the chair with newfound respect. "That's totally understandable. And look at you now, you're handling it like pros," Alex encouraged, feeling a sense of accomplishment wash over him.
He realized that by teaching them the art of assembly, he was also imparting a lesson in patience and perseverance. As the session drew to a close, they stepped back to admire their handiwork. The chair stood firm and proud, a testament to their collaborative efforts. The aliens turned to Alex, their faces beaming with pride. "This is incredible! We actually did it," one shouted, bouncing on their feet. "Absolutely! You all should be proud of this accomplishment. It's a perfect example of what teamwork and patience can achieve," Alex said, his heart swelling with joy. "If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel," Alex added, his excitement bubbling over as he saw the enthusiasm in their eyes. As they cleaned up the workspace, the aliens began to discuss their next project, their voices filled with eagerness. "What if we try to build a table next?" an alien suggested, already dreaming of future challenges. "Let's do it," Alex replied, feeling a sense of anticipation for what was to come. And as he watched the aliens begin to plan, he knew that together, they could conquer not just furniture assembly, but any challenge that lay ahead. The Galactic Furniture Factory buzzed with a newfound energy, a testament to what could be accomplished when patience and collaboration ruled the day. The atmosphere in the Galactic Furniture Factory was charged with a mix of anticipation and anxiety as the aliens faced the aftermath of their first setback. The chair, which had seemed so simple to assemble just moments ago, now loomed over them, a daunting reminder of their struggle. A few of them stood with their tentacles crossed, their bodies shifting restlessly, reflecting the disappointment that hung in the air. Alex stepped forward, sensing the weight of their defeat. "Hey, I know it can be frustrating. It's easy to feel like giving up, but remember, every great achievement starts with a few failures," he said, trying to inject some positivity into the situation. The aliens looked at him, their expressions a blend of skepticism and hope. One of the aliens, a tall, blue-skinned creature named Velana, sighed deeply. "But we've never faced anything like this before. Our methods aren't working, and it feels like we're just wasting time," she lamented, her voice tinged with frustration. Alex nodded, understanding her feelings. "I completely get that. But I want to share a story with you, something that might help. When I first started assembling furniture back on Earth, I faced a lot of challenges too. I remember one time, I was assembling a complicated bookshelf. I followed the manual step by step, but somehow, I ended up with 2 extra pieces. I thought I'd ruined everything," he recounted, his voice steady as he captured their attention. The aliens leaned in, intrigued. Alex continued, "I was about to throw in the towel, but then I decided to take a break and clear my mind. After a while, I came back, looked at the manual again, and realized I'd missed a crucial step. I had to be patient and give myself the space to think." "Did you manage to fix it?" asked Thas, an elderly alien whose eyes sparkled with curiosity. "I did. And not only did I finish the bookshelf, but I learned to appreciate the process. Each mistake taught me something new. It's the same with what you're doing now." "Mistakes are just stepping stones to success," Alex explained, feeling a connection growing between them. Velana nodded slowly, soaking in his words. "So you're saying that we should see our mistakes as part of the learning process? Like, they're not failures but opportunities?" "Exactly," Alex replied enthusiastically. "Every time something goes wrong, it's a chance to learn. Embrace it. Let's give this another shot, but this time, let's do it together, step by step. You can ask questions, and I'll guide you through." After a moment of hesitation, the aliens exchanged glances, a silent agreement forming among them. They slowly straightened, their body language shifting from defeat to determination. "Okay, let's do it," Velana affirmed, her voice steady now. With renewed energy, they gathered around the assembly area once more. Alex laid out the pieces of the chair, meticulously organized as he explained each part. "Let's go through the manual together. This time, I want you all to take the lead. I'll be right here to help if you need me." As they began again, Alex noticed a change in their demeanor. They were more engaged, asking questions and sharing ideas. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and lighthearted banter, a stark contrast to the earlier tension. "Why don't we try to make the legs first? They seem easier," suggested Jinx, an alien who had been quiet until now.
Great idea. Let's start there, Alex encouraged, impressed by Jinx's initiative.
As they assembled the legs, there were moments of confusion, of course. One alien accidentally dropped a bolt, causing a clatter that echoed around the factory. Instead of groans of frustration, however, the group burst into laughter, their spirits lifted.
Oops!
Jinx exclaimed, his eyes wide with faux innocence.
Guess I'm not cut out for the delicate work. Hey, it happens. Just remember, patience.
Alex chimed in, smiling as he watched them find joy in the process, even amid the mishaps. The chair took shape piece by piece, and with each connection, their excitement grew. They celebrated small victories, and Alex felt a swell of pride as he witnessed their transformation.
Look at that!
You're all getting the hang of this, he exclaimed, clapping his hands in encouragement. As they pieced together the components, Alex continued to weave his encouragement into the process.
If you're feeling stuck, just remember to breathe.
It's okay to step back and reassess, he advised, echoing the lessons he had learned through his own experiences. After a while, they reached a point where they had to fit the backrest onto the seat. This was the moment of truth, the part that had caused them so much trouble before. The air was thick with anticipation as they carefully aligned the pieces, their voices hushed.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alex counted, and together, they pushed the pieces into place. The sound of the connection locking in was music to their ears, and they erupted into cheers.
We did it! We actually did it!
Velana shouted, her eyes shining with excitement.
See? Patience and teamwork.
Alex beamed, his heart racing with joy at their success. The joy in the factory was palpable as they admired their completed chair.
It's so sturdy, Foss declared, running a tentacle along the smooth surface.
Who knew we had it in us? Another alien mused, a look of wonder on their face.
Of course you did.
I always knew you could, Alex replied, feeling a sense of accomplishment wash over him.
And this is just the beginning. Imagine what else you can create together.
As the assembly session came to a close, they started to clean up the workspace. The aliens were animated, discussing their next project and sharing ideas with each other.
What if we try a table next?
Jinx suggested, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Alex replied, thrilled at their newfound enthusiasm. He watched as they began to plan, their confidence soaring. By the way, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex added with a grin, feeling the energy in the room shift once more. The Galactic Furniture Factory buzzed with a spirit of collaboration, innovation, and laughter. They had not just built a chair, they had built a community, one lesson at a time, and Alex realized that this experience was as rewarding for him as it was for them. Together, they were embracing patience, creativity, and the joy of working side by side, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead. With renewed energy, the aliens gathered around the assembly area once more, their previous doubts seemingly washed away. Alex laid out the pieces of the chair meticulously organized, the plastic and metal glinting under the bright lights of the Galactic Furniture Factory. Let's go through the manual together, he said, his voice steady and encouraging.
This time, I want you all to take the lead. I'll be right here to help if you need me. As they began again, Alex noticed a change in their demeanor.
They were more engaged, their tentacles and limbs moving with purpose as they flipped through the manual. The atmosphere shifted from tension to excitement, filled with laughter and light-hearted banter. It was as if the weight of their earlier failure had been lifted.
Why don't we try to make the legs first?
They seem easier, suggested Jinx, an alien who had been quiet until this moment.
His eyes sparkled with determination, and Alex couldn't help but feel a surge of pride at the initiative.
Great idea. Let's start there, Alex encouraged, impressed by Jinx's newfound confidence. The aliens set to work, gathering the necessary pieces and tools, their chatter creating a buzz of camaraderie. As they assembled the legs, there were moments of confusion, of course. One alien accidentally dropped a bolt, causing a loud clatter that echoed around the factory. But instead of groans of frustration, the group burst into laughter.
Oops!
Jinx exclaimed, his eyes wide with faux innocence.
Guess I'm not cut out for the delicate work. Hey, it happens. Just remember, patience.
Alex chimed in, smiling as he watched them find joy in the process, even amid the mishaps. They were not just assembling furniture, they were building confidence and trust among themselves. The chair took shape piece by piece, and with each connection, their excitement grew. They celebrated small victories like fitting the legs securely, or managing to attach the seat without a hitch.
Look at that! You're all getting the hang of this, Alex exclaimed, clapping his hands in encouragement.
As they pieced together the components, Alex continued to weave his encouragement into the process.
If you're feeling stuck, just remember to breathe.
It's okay to step back and reassess, he advised, echoing the lessons he had learned through his own experiences. He watched as they attentively considered his words, nodding in understanding. After a while, they reached a point where they had to fit the backrest onto the seat. This was the moment of truth, the part that had caused them so much trouble before. The air was thick with anticipation as they carefully aligned the pieces, their voices hushed.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alex counted, and together, they pushed the pieces into place. The sound of the connection locking in was music to their ears, and they erupted into cheers.
We did it! We actually did it!
Velana shouted, her eyes shining with excitement.
See? Patience and teamwork.
Alex beamed, his heart racing with joy at their success. The happiness radiated from them, filling the factory with a sense of accomplishment and pride. The chair they had built wasn't just furniture, it symbolized their growth and unity.
As they admired their completed chair, Alex took a moment to reflect. You all did a fantastic job. I'm so proud of you.
And this is just the beginning, he said, looking around at the smiling faces.
Imagine what else you can create together.
The aliens buzzed with excitement, discussing their next project.
What if we try a table next?
Jinx suggested, a glimmer of enthusiasm in his eyes.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Alex replied, thrilled at their newfound enthusiasm. He watched as they began to plan, their confidence soaring as they shared ideas. The chair had become a launching pad for their creativity, and he felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing he had played a part in this transformation. As the assembly session came to a close, they started to clean up the workspace. The atmosphere was filled with animated discussions about what they had learned and what they wanted to tackle next. I never thought I could do this, one of the aliens exclaimed, glancing at the chair with admiration. By the way, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex added with a grin, feeling the energy in the room shift once more. The aliens laughed, and he felt a warm connection, as if they were all part of the same family now. As they wrapped up, Alex felt a sense of pride swell in his chest. They had not just built a chair, they had built a bond, one lesson at a time. The Galactic Furniture Factory buzzed with a spirit of collaboration, innovation, and laughter. Together, they were embracing patience, creativity, and the joy of working side by side, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead. As they left the assembly area, the aliens were already chatting excitedly about their ideas for the table.
What if we make it round?
Velana suggested, her voice filled with enthusiasm.
That way, everyone can sit together comfortably. Or we can have an extendable design.
Jinx added, his mind racing with possibilities.
That way it can be big enough for gatherings.
That's perfect,
Alex said, beaming at their creativity. Let's take those ideas and run with them. Remember, it's all about teamwork.
The aliens nodded, their expressions filled with determination. They were no longer just a group of frustrated workers, they were a team, ready to take on the next challenge. As they prepared to leave for the day, Alex couldn't help but feel excited for what tomorrow would bring.
With patience and collaboration, they could accomplish anything they set their minds to.
The Galactic Furniture Factory had become a place of growth and transformation, where challenges were met with laughter and creativity.
And Alex knew that this journey was only just beginning.
The experiences they were sharing would not only help them build furniture but would also lay the foundation for friendships that would last a lifetime.
As the aliens basked in the glory of their first successful assembly, the atmosphere in the Galactic Furniture Factory was electric.
Alex Rodriguez watched as Velana, Jinx, and the others eagerly circled their newly built chair, their voices bubbling with excitement. It was a moment of triumph, not just for the chair itself, but for the teamwork and camaraderie that had developed among them. It was more than just furniture, it was a symbol of their perseverance and growth.
"Look at how sturdy it is!" Velana exclaimed, giving the chair an enthusiastic shake.
The creaks and groans of the wood echoed slightly, but it held firm.
"I can't believe we actually did this. It's real." "I think it looks amazing," Jinx added, beaming. "We should put it in the break room for everyone to see."
The enthusiasm in his voice was infectious, and Alex felt his heart swell with pride.
"Absolutely. I'm so proud of you all," Alex replied, his smile wide.
"And trust me, this is just the beginning.
Imagine what else you can create together." The aliens nodded, their eyes sparkling with newfound confidence.
They began to brainstorm their next project, and Alex couldn't help but feel a mixture of joy and anticipation.
This was a pivotal moment for all of them.
They were not just learning to assemble furniture, they were learning to work together and support one another.
"Let's build a table next,"
Velana suggested, her excitement palpable.
"We can make it round so everyone can sit together comfortably." "What if we make it extendable?" Jinx chimed in. "That way, we can have more space for gatherings." "I can already imagine the feasts we could host."
Alex was thrilled at their ideas. He loved how they were thinking beyond the basics of assembly, incorporating their personal preferences and cultural nuances into the design.
"Those are fantastic ideas. Let's take those and run with them. Remember, it's all about teamwork. If we communicate and collaborate, we can make something truly special."
As they began to gather materials for the table, Alex's mind drifted back to his own experiences. He could vividly recall the first time he had attempted a challenging project. It had been a simple bookshelf, yet he remembered the frustration and the feeling of inadequacy that had crept in when things didn't fit quite right. But he had learned that failure was just a stepping stone to success, a lesson he was eager to impart to his new friends. "Before we start, I want to emphasize something important," Alex said, gathering their attention.
"When we begin this next project, patience is key. There will be moments when things don't go as planned, and that's okay. What matters is how we respond to those moments. We need to support each other and keep communicating."
The aliens listened intently, nodding in understanding. Alex could see the wheels turning in their minds, and it filled him with optimism. If they could grasp this concept, they would not only improve at assembly but also strengthen their bonds.
"All right, let's get started,"
he encouraged, and they all jumped into action, excitement coursing through them.
As they began assembling the table, things started out smoothly.
The aliens worked together seamlessly, passing tools and pieces back and forth. Their laughter filled the air, and Alex felt a warmth in his chest as he observed their teamwork. But as they reached a crucial point in the assembly, the attachment of the legs, things began to unravel. "Wait, this doesn't seem right," Velana said, squinting at the manual.
"I thought the legs went on the other side." No, that can't be right. They should fit like this."
Jinx insisted, frustration creeping into his voice. The tension in the air shifted, and Alex could see the familiar signs of discontent brewing among them.
"Let's take a step back," Alex suggested gently, sensing the building pressure. "How about we all take a breath?"
The aliens paused, looking at each other with uncertainty.
Alex took a deep breath himself, recalling the importance of patience he had just spoken about.
"Sometimes, we need to reassess things, especially when we feel stuck.
It's okay to take a moment to regroup. But we've already tried so many times. What if we never get it right?"
Velana's voice trembled with doubt. Alex could see her enthusiasm waning, and he knew he had to intervene before the spirit of teamwork deflated entirely.
"Listen," he said, kneeling down to their level, "I've been there.
There was a time when I struggled with a project just like this, and it felt impossible. But it was through those moments of frustration that I learned the most."
"You're not alone in this.
We're a team, and we'll figure it out together." His words seemed to resonate with them, and slowly, the tension in the room began to dissipate. "Okay," Jinx said, his shoulders relaxing. "Let's try again. But this time, let's communicate better. If something doesn't fit, let's say it right away." "Exactly," Alex encouraged, his heart lifting at their willingness to adapt. "If we work together, we can overcome anything. Let's approach this with patience." With renewed determination, they returned to the assembly. They took their time, checking the manual carefully this time and discussing each step aloud. As they moved forward, Alex could see the shift in their energy. They were learning to collaborate, to listen, and to support one another. Suddenly, as they were about to attach the last leg, Velana noticed something. "Wait! I think we've been looking at it upside down," she exclaimed. The realization sent a ripple of laughter through the group, and even Alex chuckled, shaking his head in disbelief at how simple the solution had been. "All right, let's flip it and try again," he said, enjoying the light-hearted energy that was blossoming among them. Together, they flipped the table over, and as they attached the legs, Alex felt the excitement build once again. There was a different rhythm to their movements now, a harmony that had not existed before. They were no longer just a group of individuals, they were a cohesive team, each member contributing to the success of the project. Finally, with one last push, the table legs clicked into place. The aliens stood back, their eyes wide as they admired their handiwork. "We did it!" Velana shouted, clapping her hands in joy. "Look at our table!" Alex beamed at them. "You all did an incredible job. This is more than just a table, it's a testament to your patience and teamwork. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished." The atmosphere was filled with cheers and laughter as they celebrated their success. Alex felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had hoped to teach them about patience, but in the process, they had taught him as well. As they began to clean up, the camaraderie lingered, and Alex knew that this experience would be one they would cherish for a long time. By the way, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex added with a grin, feeling the energy in the room shift once more. The aliens laughed, and he felt a warm connection, as if they were all part of the same family now. As they wrapped up for the day, ideas for future projects flowed freely among the group. Alex realized that what had started as a simple furniture assembly session had turned into something much greater, a foundation of friendship built on patience, teamwork, and shared experiences. The Galactic Furniture Factory was no longer just a workplace, it had transformed into a vibrant community where creativity and collaboration thrived. As the sun dipped below the horizon of the Galactic Furniture Factory, casting a warm glow over the assembly area, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Alex stood among his alien friends, feeling the weight of their shared anticipation. They had just completed their first project, a simple table that had tested their patience and teamwork. However, now they faced an even bigger challenge, a complex bookshelf that promised to push their limits further than before. The design manual lay open on the table, pages fluttering slightly in the artificial breeze created by the overhead fans. Jinx, one of the more anxious aliens, squinted at the diagram. "This looks way more complicated than the table," he said, his voice tinged with doubt. "Are you sure we can do this?" Alex nodded, his confidence unwavering. "Absolutely. Remember what we achieved with the table. It was all about communication and patience. We can do this together." He glanced around at the group, noticing the blend of skepticism and determination in their eyes. "Let's break this down step by step. The manual is our guide, and if we stick to it, we'll make it." Velana, who had become a more vocal member of the group, chimed in, "Okay, but let's make sure we're all on the same page this time. If something doesn't fit, we need to speak up immediately." Her assertive tone encouraged the others, creating a sense of unity. "Right," Alex replied, appreciating her leadership. "Let's start with the base. Who wants to grab the first pieces?" As they began to gather materials, the initial excitement quickly morphed into confusion. The bookshelf consisted of various components, each requiring precise measurements and assembly techniques that the aliens had not yet mastered. Wait, is this piece supposed to look like this? Asked Knox, holding up a large wooden panel, his brows furrowed in concentration. Alex stepped closer to him, examining the piece. Let's check the manual. It should fit snugly into this groove here. He pointed to the diagram, which illustrated how the pieces were meant to interlock. However, as they attempted to fit the panel, it simply wouldn't budge. Jinx let out a frustrated groan. What if we never get it right? Maybe this is just too hard for us. Hey, every project has its bumps, Alex reassured him. We're learning. It's part of the process. Let's take a moment to breathe and refocus. He could see the tension rising again, an all too familiar pattern. It reminded him of his own experiences back on Earth, where frustration often clouded judgment. Let me tell you about a time I faced a similar wall, he began, looking around at the aliens, who had paused their efforts to listen. When I was just starting out in furniture assembly, I worked on a massive bookshelf too. It felt impossible at first, just like this one. I remember thinking I was wasting my time. But I learned that the key is in the details and in patience. Velana nodded, her eyes brightening as she absorbed his words. So, it's okay to feel frustrated? We shouldn't give up? Exactly. Alex encouraged. It's not just about finishing the project, it's about learning from each attempt. If we don't get it right this time, we'll just try again. Remember, every mistake is a step towards success. Slowly, the atmosphere began to shift. The aliens exchanged glances, and Alex noticed a flicker of determination reigniting in their expressions. All right, Jinx said finally, let's give this another shot. But this time, let's make sure to communicate clearly. With renewed vigor, they approached the bookshelf assembly with fresh eyes. They started over, examining each piece carefully before trying to fit them together. Alex guided them through the process, offering tips and encouragement. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work, he exclaimed, and the phrase struck a chord, prompting a round of laughter. As they worked, the camaraderie among them blossomed. Velana and Jinx collaborated on arranging the shelves while Nox and Foss attempted to secure the side panels. The more they communicated, the smoother the process became. When they hit a snag, they cheered each other on rather than succumbing to frustration. Suddenly, Foss shouted, "Wait! I think we have this upside down." His realization brought another wave of laughter, and the tension that had previously loomed over them began to dissolve. It was moments like these, filled with laughter and camaraderie, that Alex cherished most. Let's flip it and try again, he said, encouraging them. They worked together to turn the bookshelf over, and as they did, Alex could feel the bond between them strengthening. It was no longer just about assembling furniture, they were building relationships. With the pieces correctly oriented, they began to fit everything together. Alex felt a swell of pride as he watched the aliens collaborate with newfound confidence. Just like that, he cheered, clapping them on the back as they successfully secured the first shelf. After several more attempts, the bookshelf began to take shape. The sound of pieces clicking into place filled the air, and their excitement grew with each success. Look at us go! Velana exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. We're actually doing it. Exactly. Alex beamed, his heart swelling with pride. This is what teamwork looks like. Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. As they neared the final stages of assembly, the energy in the room was palpable. The aliens were no longer just following Alex's lead, they were actively participating, each contributing their unique skills. Let's make sure everything is secure before we stand it up, Alex advised, keenly aware of the importance of their final checks. Right. I'll check the screws. Jinx offered, diving into the task with newfound enthusiasm. The air buzzed with the thrill of accomplishment as they carefully inspected their work. Every moment spent together, every laugh shared, solidified the bonds they were forming. Finally, they stood back, gazing at the towering bookshelf, their masterpiece. It was more than just a piece of furniture, it represented their growth, patience, and teamwork. We did it! Velana shouted, throwing her arms up in victory. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. You all did it! This is your success, and it showcases how far you've come.
It's a reminder that with patience and collaboration, anything is possible.
As they celebrated their achievement, Alex couldn't help but reflect on the journey they had taken together. What began as a simple assembly task had transformed into a powerful lesson about patience, communication, and the beauty of working together.
Their laughter echoed in the assembly room, a testament to their newfound friendship. By the way, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex interjected with a grin, and the aliens laughed, playfully nudging each other as they basked in their accomplishment.
For Alex, the Galactic Furniture Factory had become more than just a workplace, it was a community where diverse beings learned from each other, one furniture assembly at a time. The journey was far from over, and he felt a thrill of anticipation for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that together, they could conquer anything. As the hum of teamwork filled the assembly room, Alex felt a sense of pride swell within him. The aliens, now gathered around the half-assembled bookshelf, were engaged in a vibrant exchange of ideas and laughter. It was a stark contrast to the frustration that had hung in the air just days before. He could see them growing more comfortable with the tools and each other, their tentative steps evolving into confident strides.
"All right, everyone," Alex called out, clapping his hands to gather their attention. "Let's focus on what we learned from our last attempt. Remember, communication is key."
Jinx, the nervous intern of the group, raised a hand, a hopeful expression on his face.
"What if we set up a system for communication? Like a signal for when we need help or if we've made a mistake?" "Great idea, Jinx," Alex replied, smiling broadly.
"Let's make sure we establish a way to let each other know when we're stuck.
It'll help us work more smoothly." With that, the aliens began to brainstorm ideas for their communication signals.
Velana suggested a series of hand gestures, while Nox proposed a color-coded system using their tools.
They laughed and debated, and for a moment, it felt like they were not just a group of workers but a team united by a common goal.
As they settled on a system, Alex felt a wave of optimism wash over him.
"Let's put this into practice. Remember to support one another, we're all in this together."
They resumed their assembly, each alien taking on a specific role based on their newfound understanding of teamwork.
Velana and Jinx paired up to secure the bottom shelf while Nox and Foss worked on the side panels.
Laughter erupted when Jinx accidentally dropped a screwdriver, causing it to slide across the floor like a rogue spaceship.
"Nice save, Jinx." Foss chuckled as he picked up the tool. "Just remember, no space debris in the assembly zone." "Yeah, we can't have any asteroids in our way,"
Velana added, and soon, everyone was chuckling at the playful banter. As they tightened screws and adjusted panels, Alex moved among them, offering guidance and encouragement.
"You're all doing fantastic. Just like that, keep it steady.
Remember, it's about being patient and working together." Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. As they attempted to align the top section of the bookshelf, it wobbled dangerously, and Nox shouted, "It's not fitting right."
"I think we did something wrong."
"Let's pause," Alex suggested, stepping in to mediate.
"What's the problem?"
Nox frowned, his frustration evident.
"I'm not sure. It feels like everything is off. Maybe we miscounted the pieces?" The mood turned somber. Velana sighed, "It's like we're back at square one." Alex took a deep breath, sensing the weight of their disappointment. "Hey, it's okay. Remember our first assembly session? We faced setbacks then too, but we learned from those mistakes. Let's figure this out together."
As he spoke, Alex noticed a flicker of determination reigniting in their expressions.
"All right," Jinx said finally, "let's give this another shot.
But this time, let's make sure to communicate clearly." With renewed vigor, they approached the bookshelf assembly with fresh eyes. They started over, examining each piece carefully before trying to fit them together. Alex guided them through the process, offering tips and encouragement. "Remember, teamwork makes the dream work," he exclaimed, and the phrase struck a chord, prompting a round of laughter. As they worked, the camaraderie among them blossomed. Velana and Jinx collaborated on arranging the shelves while Nox and Foss attempted to secure the side panels. The more they communicated, the smoother the process became. When they hit a snag, they cheered each other on rather than succumbing to frustration.
Suddenly, Thos shouted, "Wait! I think we have this upside down."
His realization brought another wave of laughter, and the tension that had previously loomed over them began to dissolve. It was moments like these, filled with laughter and camaraderie, that Alex cherished most.
"Let's flip it and try again," he said, encouraging them.
They worked together to turn the bookshelf over, and as they did, Alex could feel the bond between them strengthening. It was no longer just about assembling furniture, they were building relationships.
With the pieces correctly oriented, they began to fit everything together.
Alex felt a swell of pride as he watched the aliens collaborate with newfound confidence. "Just like that," he cheered, clapping them on the back as they successfully secured the first shelf.
After several more attempts, the bookshelf began to take shape.
The sound of pieces clicking into place filled the air, and their excitement grew with each success.
"Look at us go!" Velana exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "We're actually doing it."
"Exactly." Alex beamed, his heart swelling with pride.
"This is what teamwork looks like."
Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. As they neared the final stages of assembly, the energy in the room was palpable. The aliens were no longer just following Alex's lead, they were actively participating, each contributing their unique skills. "Let's make sure everything is secure before we stand it up," Alex advised, keenly aware of the importance of their final checks.
"Right.
I'll check the screws,"
Jinx offered, diving into the task with newfound enthusiasm.
The air buzzed with the thrill of accomplishment as they carefully inspected their work. Every moment spent together, every laugh shared, solidified the bonds they were forming. Finally, they stood back, gazing at the towering bookshelf, their masterpiece. It was more than just a piece of furniture, it represented their growth, patience, and teamwork.
"We did it!"
Velana shouted, throwing her arms up in victory. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him.
"You all did it!
This is your success, and it showcases how far you've come.
It's a reminder that with patience and collaboration, anything is possible."
As they celebrated their achievement, Alex couldn't help but reflect on the journey they had taken together. What began as a simple assembly task had transformed into a powerful lesson about patience, communication, and the beauty of working together.
Their laughter echoed in the assembly room, a testament to their newfound friendship.
By the way, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex interjected with a grin, and the aliens laughed, playfully nudging each other as they basked in their accomplishment. For Alex, the Galactic Furniture Factory had become more than just a workplace, it was a community where diverse beings learned from each other, one furniture assembly at a time. The journey was far from over, and he felt a thrill of anticipation for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that together, they could conquer anything. As the aliens gathered around the half-assembled bookshelf, the air was thick with anticipation. The laughter and camaraderie they had built during the previous assembly session had given way to a focused energy. Each of them wore expressions of determination, eager to tackle the more complex project that lay before them.
Alex stood in front of them, a reassuring presence as they prepared to continue.
"All right, everyone," he said, clapping his hands together to get their attention. "Today, we're going to take on this bookshelf.
Remember what we learned last time, communication and teamwork are key.
Let's make sure we talk through each step so no one gets overwhelmed." Jinx, who had been quiet since their last victory, nodded vigorously.
"I'm ready. Let's do this."
His enthusiasm seemed to motivate the others, and soon, they were all buzzing with excitement. As they opened the box containing the parts for the bookshelf, the aliens clustered around to inspect the pieces. The shelves, side panels, and screws were all laid out in organized chaos, a sight that would have made any assembly enthusiast proud. The manual was opened, resting against the table, a guide that Alex had stressed was crucial for their success. "Okay, let's start with the first step," Alex said, gesturing to the manual. He pointed at the diagrams, explaining each part in simple terms.
"See this? This is the bottom panel.
We need to attach the side panels to it first."
The aliens leaned in, their curiosity piqued.
Velana, who had taken on a leadership role, picked up the bottom panel and turned it over. How do we know which side goes where? She asked, looking to Alex for guidance. Well, the manual says the side with the pre-drilled holes goes on the outside, Alex replied. Also, it helps to match the shapes, like puzzle pieces. Trust me, it'll make everything easier if we just follow this step by step. Knox scratched his head, still unsure. But what if it doesn't fit? We've had issues with that before. That's part of the learning process, Alex reassured him. Mistakes happen, and it's okay. We'll figure it out together. Remember, patience is key. As they began assembling the side panels, the initial excitement quickly evaporated into confusion. The aliens struggled to get the screws to align properly. Jinx, who was holding one of the panels, exclaimed, "This doesn't make sense. Why is this hole too far away?" Alex walked over, noticing the frustration building. "Let me take a look," he said, carefully examining their work. "Ah, I see the issue. You've got the panel upside down. Let's flip it." With laughter erupting from the group, they quickly adjusted the panel. "It's like we're learning to dance," Velana joked. "We just need to find the right rhythm." Once the panel was in place, they secured it with screws, the sound of metal clicking into wood echoing in the room. With each successful step, the atmosphere shifted from one of frustration to one of playful excitement. The initial hurdles turned into opportunities for fun banter. "Okay, next, we need to attach the shelves," Alex instructed, pointing at the next step in the manual. "This is where it gets interesting. Make sure to measure twice before you screw in those brackets." As they proceeded, the aliens began to find their groove. They communicated with each other, sharing ideas and offering help when someone was struggling. It was a marked difference from their earlier interactions. "I'll hold the shelf, you just need to screw it in, Knox," Velana directed, her confidence shining through. Knox smiled, feeling empowered. "Got it. Just don't let it fall." The playful banter and teamwork continued, creating a lively atmosphere. The camaraderie enveloped them, and with every shelf they attached, they cheered one another on. "This is looking great," Jinx exclaimed, stepping back to admire their progress. With the bookshelf now taking shape, the aliens gathered around to inspect their work. They beamed with pride, reveling in the satisfaction of what they had accomplished together. "We did this," Velana exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. Alex couldn't help but smile at their enthusiasm. "You all did an amazing job. Just remember, there's more to come. Let's keep this momentum going." However, as they prepared to attach the final shelves, a sudden realization hit them. "Wait, which way do we need to orient these?" Knox asked, looking at the manual and back at the assembly. "Let's not panic," Alex said, his calm demeanor a grounding force. "We can figure this out together. Just look at the pictures. They should guide us." But as the aliens began to reorient the shelves, the laughter soon turned into a fumble. No. That's not how it goes," Jinx shouted, as the shelf wobbled dangerously. "Oh no, I think that's a bit too loose," Velana chimed in, her hands flailing as she tried to steady the shelf. The situation quickly spiraled into chaos as the shelves began to tilt. "Don't let it fall," Alex called out, rushing over to assist. In that moment, the energy shifted once again. Their earlier confidence had been replaced by a flurry of frantic movements. "What do we do?" Knox shouted, panic rising in his voice. "Everyone, breathe," Alex instructed firmly. "Take a step back. Let's not rush this. We've come too far to let one mistake ruin our progress." The aliens took a collective breath, and Alex could see the gears turning in their minds. Gradually, they began to regain their composure, returning to the manual for guidance. "Okay, let's re-evaluate," Velana suggested, her voice steadying the group. "Right," Jinx added, "we'll line it up again and make sure it's secured before we lift it." With a renewed focus, they reoriented the shelves, taking care to ensure everything was aligned correctly this time. "Let's do it together. On 3. Alex guided, counting down.
1, 2, 3. Together, they lifted the shelf into position, securing it with the brackets. The sound of metal against wood echoed like a victorious anthem. Yes! We did it! Velana cheered, and the group erupted into applause. Alex beamed with pride, watching as their hard work turned into a beautiful piece of furniture. You all are incredible! This is what teamwork is all about. Let's take a moment to appreciate our hard work. Jinx suggested, looking at their creation. As they admired the bookshelf, Alex felt a wave of satisfaction wash over him. Not only had they built a piece of furniture, but they had also built a sense of community. They were no longer just a group of aliens trying to assemble furniture, they were friends who had learned to work together through patience and perseverance. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex added with a grin, and the aliens laughed, playfully nudging each other as they celebrated their success. In that moment, the Galactic Furniture Factory became more than just a place of work. It was a hub of learning, laughter, and friendship, and Alex couldn't wait to see where their next adventure would take them. As the aliens gathered around the newly assembled bookshelf, their eyes sparkled with pride and joy. It was more than just a piece of furniture, it was a testament to their hard work, persistence, and the bonds they had formed throughout the assembly process. Each shelf told a story of laughter, frustration, and ultimately, triumph. They had come together as a team, and this moment was the culmination of their efforts. Look at this! We actually did it! Velana exclaimed, her voice ringing with enthusiasm. She ran her fingers along the smooth surface of the wood, feeling the textures as if they were the very fabric of their success. The group erupted into cheers, their voices echoing through the Galactic Furniture Factory. Alex stood back, watching the scene unfold with a smile that stretched ear to ear. The satisfaction of seeing the aliens so thrilled filled him with warmth. You all should be incredibly proud of yourselves. This isn't just a shelf, it's a symbol of what you can achieve when you work together, he said, his heart swelling with pride for his new friends. Jinx, still bubbling with excitement, jumped up and down. What should we put on it first? He asked, eyes darting around the factory as if searching for the perfect item. How about all the tools we used? Knox suggested, a playful grin on his face. It could be our Hall of Fame for assembling furniture the human way. Laughter erupted again, and they began to brainstorm what items would best showcase their achievements. I think we need something to remember our first attempt at assembling the chair, Velana mused, her voice thoughtful. Maybe we can keep the broken pieces as a reminder of how far we've come. That's a great idea. Alex chimed in. Every piece tells a part of your journey. Remember, it's not just about the destination but the experiences that lead you there. As the group chatted animatedly, Alex felt a profound sense of connection with them. Each alien, once a stranger, now felt like a friend, he had witnessed their growth firsthand. They had gone from struggling with basic assembly to collaborating seamlessly. It was a beautiful transformation. Let's take a picture. Zara suggested suddenly, her eyes shining. We need to capture this moment. Good thinking, Alex replied, feeling a wave of nostalgia sweep over him. He reached for his communicator and set it to take a group photo. Okay, everyone, gather around the shelf. They huddled close, arms slung around each other's shoulders, grinning from ear to ear. Say patience. Alex called out. Patience, they all shouted in unison, and the flash went off, capturing their joyous expressions forever. As they pulled away, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment washing over him. Now, this isn't just about building furniture, it's about the relationship we've built. I've learned so much from all of you, he said, glancing around the group. Like what? Thas, the elder alien, inquired, a curious expression crossing his face. Alex took a moment to reflect. The importance of patience, for one. You've all had your struggles, but you've shown resilience. It's a reminder that everyone, regardless of their background, can learn from one another. I never thought I could assemble anything. Jinx admitted, a shy grin spreading across his face. But with your help, I feel like I can tackle anything now. Exactly. Alex encouraged, his enthusiasm infectious. And this is just the beginning. I want you all to continue applying what you've learned here in everything you do. When you face challenges, remember this moment. Let's not stop here. Velana added, her eyes gleaming with determination. We can tackle more complex furniture projects together, right? If we can build this, we can build anything. Alex chuckled, absolutely. The next project awaits, and I'm more than ready to take it on with you all. Just remember, it's okay to make mistakes along the way. That's how we learn.
The aliens nodded vigorously, their newfound confidence radiating throughout the room. They were now united by a shared experience, and Alex could see the spark of curiosity ignited within them. The conversation flowed freely, filled with ideas and laughter. They began discussing what their next project should be, tossing around suggestions like a game of catch. An alien named Grix suggested building a sofa, while another thought a table would be more useful. As they debated, their camaraderie deepened, and the trust among them became palpable. Perhaps we can design a custom piece together, Alex suggested, excitement bubbling in his voice. Each of you can add your own flair to it. What do you think? That idea lit a fire in their eyes. I love it! Nora exclaimed. We can incorporate elements from our cultures into the design. It will be unique. Yes. A true blend of human and alien craftsmanship. Knox added, his voice filled with enthusiasm. As the brainstorming session continued, Alex felt a sense of fulfillment. He had built more than just a bookshelf, he had fostered an environment where creativity flourished and friendships blossomed. All right, let's take a moment to appreciate our hard work. Jinx suggested, and everyone nodded in agreement. They gathered around the bookshelf once more, admiring their creation. In that moment, Alex felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. It was a reminder of why he loved his job so much. The connections he made with others, whether human or alien, were what truly mattered. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Alex said with a smile, and the aliens laughed, playfully nudging each other as they celebrated their success. As they basked in the glow of their achievement, Alex knew this experience would resonate with them far beyond the factory walls. They had learned patience, teamwork, and the beauty of collaboration. And as they prepared for their next project, he had no doubt that they would approach it with the same spirit of camaraderie that had brought them together in the first place. In the Galactic Furniture Factory, a new chapter was just beginning, one filled with endless possibilities and new adventures waiting to unfold. As the celebrations continued, Alex stood back and observed the group of aliens, still buzzing with excitement from their accomplishment. It was remarkable how much they had transformed together, not just in their abilities to assemble furniture, but in their newfound camaraderie and spirit of teamwork. The laughter and joy that filled the room resonated deeply within him, reminding him of the importance of connection and the journey they had all undertaken. Look at us! Velana exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. From barely being able to hold a screwdriver to building a shelf together. I can't believe how far we've come. Knox nodded in agreement, a wide grin on his face. It's like we've unlocked a new level of understanding. Not just about furniture but about each other too. Alex chuckled, feeling a warmth spread through him. You all have shown incredible resilience. Remember, it's not just about what we built today, it's about the lessons we've learned along the way. As they gathered around the assembled bookshelf, each alien took turns sharing their favorite moments throughout the process. Jinx, who had been so anxious at the beginning, spoke up first. I really liked when we finally figured out how to use the power drill. I never thought I could operate it without breaking something. And when we accidentally glued our hands together. Grix added, laughter erupting from the group. That was a classic moment. Who knew glue could be so sticky? Or when we misinterpreted the blueprint and ended up with a modern art piece instead of a chair. Iris chimed in, her eyes rolling playfully. I still think it has a certain charm, though. The laughter continued, a melting pot of voices echoing off the factory walls. Alex couldn't help but smile at their shared humor. It was these moments, the lightheartedness, the mistakes, and the growth that made this experience so enriching. Speaking of growth, he said, redirecting the conversation, I want to emphasize how important patience is. You've all shown patience with each other, and that's what truly made this successful.
Patience is not just a virtue, it's a skill we can all cultivate. Thas, the elder alien, nodded thoughtfully. I have always believed patience is essential.
But seeing it in action has taught me that it's more than just waiting, it's about understanding and supporting one another.
Exactly. Alex said, feeling inspired by the discussion.
We all come from different backgrounds and cultures, and it's our differences that make us stronger. The more we understand each other, the more we can achieve together. As the conversation flowed, Alex noticed some of the aliens looking curious, their expressions shifting from joy to contemplation. They were beginning to realize the broader implications of what they had accomplished together, and he felt a surge of pride for them. Let's not stop here, Alex continued, sensing the moment was ripe for motivation.
You've all proven that you can overcome challenges that initially seemed insurmountable.
I can't wait to see how you apply this newfound patience and teamwork in your future projects. What's next for us? Asked Nora, a determined look on her face.
I want to build something even bigger. How about a dining table?
Grix suggested, his excitement palpable. We could create a place for gatherings, where everyone can come together and share their stories.
Or a couch. Velana interjected, her creativity bubbling to the surface.
Imagine a cozy space where we can all relax after a long day of work.
Alex's heart swelled at their enthusiasm. Those are fantastic ideas. And remember, whatever you decide to create, apply everything you've learned.
Take your time, communicate openly, and don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it.
The aliens nodded, their eyes filled with determination.
It was clear that they were ready to face the future, not just as individuals but as a united team. The sense of community that had blossomed among them was something that Alex knew would carry on beyond the factory walls. Before we wrap up for the day, Alex said, raising his hand for attention, I would love to take a group photo to commemorate this moment. It's a testament to what we've built together, both literally and figuratively. Excited murmurs filled the room, and the aliens quickly gathered together, their earlier shyness forgotten in the spirit of celebration. Alex positioned himself in the center, surrounded by his new friends.
Okay, everyone, on the count of 3, say patience. 1, 2, 3, patience.
The flash went off, capturing their joy and unity in a single frame. As they dispersed, Alex felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him. This experience had not just changed the aliens, it had changed him, too. The lessons learned would stay with him, reminding him of the power of empathy and the importance of building bridges across cultures. As they began to clean up, Alex took a moment to reflect on everything they had accomplished. He thought of how patience had transformed their experience, turning what could have been frustration into a celebration of growth. Each alien had contributed their unique perspective, enriching the experience for all involved. Hey, Alex, Jinx called out, his voice breaking Alex from his thoughts.
Thanks for everything. I never thought I'd be able to do something like this.
Yeah, me too, added Velana.
You really helped us see that we could achieve more together. Feeling touched, Alex smiled. It was all of you who made this happen. You embraced the challenge and supported one another. That's what true teamwork is about.
As they wrapped up their day, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The friendships forged in the Galactic Furniture Factory would carry on, spreading the message of patience and collaboration across the galaxy. Before leaving, Alex turned to the group one last time.
Comment what your favorite moment was and turn on notifications. I can't wait to hear your stories. Let's keep this momentum going.
With that, they exited the factory, leaving behind not just a workspace, but a shared experience that would linger in their hearts forever. In a galaxy filled with differences, they had found common ground, and together,